Hello everyone, my name is CM Freeze, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm actually very shocked that I'm making this type of video right now. I'm doing a mid-season review of the St. Louis Cardinals, and I shouldn't say that I'm shocked I'm making this video. I was planning on making this video. I'm just shocked that the St. Louis Cardinals are where they are right now. They're overachieving, and I think everybody knows that they're overachieving, and I'm not going to complain about it at all. I'm actually happy. I'm enjoying watching St. Louis Cardinals games. They're getting wins. It doesn't matter how sloppy they are, and how much the pitching is carrying the crap out of the St. Louis Cardinals right now. I'm still enjoying it. Now, I made a early season review of the St. Louis Cardinals when they were 9-13. That's a video on my channel if you want to go check that out. I'll maybe put something up here in the top. Who knows? Maybe I won't. And after it was 9-13, it did not look good for the St. Louis Cardinals. In fact, they went on a really bad 10-game stretch here and went to 9 games below 500. They were 15-24 at this point. It was not looking good. Milwaukee Brewers just kicked our ass. We lost 2 of 3 to the Chicago White Sox, who at that point I think only had like 2 wins. It was not looking good for us. It was looking brutal for the St. Louis Cardinals. Our offense was terrible. And then something happened. When we were at our low on Saturday, May 11th, we just lost the Milwaukee Brewers. 9 games below 500. We then went 10-2 to go 25-26 to get 1 game within 500. We then won 2 of the next 3 to go 27-27. Then we lost a little bit, and then we gained ground. And then we went on a big win streak to eventually actually being above 500, 36-35 for the first time since we were 5-4. We actually got above 500 after being 9 games below 500. And then we got to 3 games over 500, and that's where we're sitting currently. We got to 3 games over 500, and then we've gone loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. And I should have made this video, like, there's 162 games in the season, so it makes sense that I should have made this at game 81, right? That was the true halfway mark. And at the true halfway mark, the St. Louis Cardinals were 42-39. But I didn't want to make the video during the middle of the series versus the Reds, so I just made it when we were 43-40. 2 games over the average, but we went 1-1 in the average. I don't even know why I'm making this a point. All right, I'm making the video now. This is when the video is coming out. I wanted the Red series to end so I can give a full, proper mid-season review of the St. Louis Cardinals. Initially, as I said, our pitching is hard carrying the crap out of the St. Louis Cardinals. The pitching is absolutely carrying the crap out of the Cardinals. I just want you to look, like this series against the Reds is perfect example of our pitching carrying us. We won 1-0 and 2-0. But then we lost 11-4 and 9-4. So our pitching just some nights are absolutely on point and are phenomenal. Look at some of these pitching games here that we have. We beat the Braves 4-1. We only allowed 3 here. 3, 4, 5, 3. Well, we don't even talk about this 8 or this 6. But then 1, 0, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3. Our pitching has been really damn good. And as you notice, not in all of these wins, but in most of our wins, our pitching is playing phenomenal. And we aren't scoring too many runs. Like, if we go all the way to the top here, how many games are we winning where we're scoring 6 or more runs? In the beginning we are, but then look at this. 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 5-3, 5-1, 4-2, 2-1, 3-0, 4-3. Some good wins here with hot batting, but then 3-1, 5-4, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4. So there are some games sprinkled in there where we are scoring 7 or plus runs. We do have the batting capability. And in a 162-game season, every single team is going to have the batting capability. But in most of the games we're winning, I would say at least in 2/3 of the games we're winning, our pitching is playing lights out and only allowing a handful of runs. And in some of these games too, they only allowed like 1 run going into the 8th and the 9th, and then you throw in shitty pitchers, and then they allow a couple of runs when you're already up by a ton. And that's why I say the Cardinals are overachieving right now, because the bats still It's weird because the pitching is doing better than the pitching should do, but the batting is doing worse than the batting should do. So it kind of balances out. We're overachieving with our pitching, but underachieving with our batting. At the beginning of the season, and especially last season too, the St. Louis Cardinals bats were actually really good. Goldschmidt was still playing really well. Jordan Walker was doing really good for us. Nolan Arenado obviously was still really good. Nootbaar. We had some good bats last season, just our pitching could not do anything, and now it's completely flipped. Now it's flipped where our pitchers are literally winning games 2-0, 1-0, 4-1 for us. Our last 3 wins, our pitchers allowed 1 run, 0 runs, and 0 runs. So we got some games where our pitching is playing great, and then we got some games where they're doing ass, and then we're just getting beat up. So it's honestly, before the game even starts, it's just, how's our pitching going to be? Because you know our batting is going to be meh. Sometimes our batting can be really good and win us in a batting duel instead of a pitching duel, but a lot of the times it comes down to how good our pitching is doing. Just to reiterate this of truly how bad our batting is, we've only scored 328 runs. That's 4th worst in the league. We have the 4th worst runs scored. Every single team in the NL West has more than us. We are dead last in the NL Central. In fact, in the National League, the only team that has less runs than us are the Miami Marlins, who are the 2nd worst team in baseball. The only other teams that are doing worse than us are the Oakland Athletic and the Chicago White Sox. Literally, 3 of the 4 worst teams in baseball have more runs than us. The Colorado Rockies, more runs than us. Giants, Diamondbacks, Cubs, Reds, Pittsburgh, all teams with worse records than us have more runs allowed. Hell, even look at the Cincinnati Reds here, and look at the Pirates. The Pirates and the Reds have allowed less runs than us as well, yet we have a better record. We have a -40 differential. -40! A -40 differential is the 8th worst in the league. There's only 7 teams with the worst differential than us. The Rockies, the Miami Marlins, the Oakland Athletic, the Chicago White Sox, and then the Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. All teams with losing records. And then here's us. 2nd in the NL Central, 3 games above 500 with a -40 differential. We have the 4th worst runs scored and the 8th worst differential. And our runs allowed isn't even that good too. 17th in runs allowed. 17th. So we are 27th in runs scored and 17th in runs allowed. So we are bottom of the league in runs scored and runs allowed. So our pitching, even though some games, like I said, are only allowing 0 runs, there are also games where our pitching sucks and allows 11 runs a game. So our pitching is hot and cold. But when our pitching is hot, our pitching is scorching hot. And that's what's winning us games, is there are games where our pitching is just lights out. So now just going on pitching. Looking at the pitching ERA that we have, these first 3 guys don't really count because, like I said, 2 games, 1 game, 1 game. But Ryan Fernandez has been absolutely excellent for us. 2.2 ERA. Ryan Helsley is literally 30 for 31 in saves. His very first game he played against the Dodgers, he blew the save. He is now 30 for 30 in his next 30 games. Ryan Helsley is playing phenomenal. He's only allowed 11 runs. 11 earned runs. And what was it? 3 of those were in the first game. So he's only allowed 8 runs in the next 30 saves. Ryan Helsley should be an all-star. He's playing out of his damn mind. Chris Roycroft, also under a 2 ERA. Sonny Gray, starting pitcher. He was our big free agency signing, and he has been damn good. Yes, he's had some bad games. You see the 5 losses there, but 9 wins. Sonny Gray has been the best pitcher we have had since Adam Wainwright. Then you look at John King, who we got in a trade for Jordan Montgomery last season, who we kind of just blew off. We just thought, oh, he's just going to be a meh relief pitcher for us. He's been great. A 3.3 ERA. Andrew Kittredge, 3.22. Our relief pitching has been phenomenal. When runs get allowed, it is typically our starters that allow those runs. Typically, it's Miles Michaelis. He's not been that good. And Steven Matz, when he was also starting for us, also has not been that good. Same with Zach Thompson, not that good. So we do have some starting pitching that hasn't been that quality. But like I said, Sonny Gray has been phenomenal. 9 for 5. Lance Lynn, where the hell was this? I did not expect Lance Lynn to be doing this crap at all. Last season, Lance Lynn allowed the most home runs in the MLB, and his number is significantly down from last year. Yes, still 10, but a lot less than last year. Lance Lynn is playing really damn good. Same with Kyle Gibson. Look at them. They've both pitched the same amount of innings, but only 35 runs and then 36 runs. They're basically identical. Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson have both been great for us, and I was not expecting this at all. I was not expecting Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson to do this. Now, yes, they have had bad games, but like if you click on Lance Lynn here, like just look at Lance Lynn here. While he has had some stinkers, he had a couple of 4 in a row, and he had this 5 ERA against the Miami Marlins. Look at these good ones. 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Some 4s in there too. Like I said, not perfect. He has some 4s in there. But he also has a surprising amount of games where he's allowed 0 runs or 1 run. Lance Lynn is playing really good. Same with Kyle Gibson. Look at this. Yes, he's had a couple of stinkers. He has a 4 here. He has a 5 here. Look at this. 0, 1, 0, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. Who knew that this was in him? I didn't. When Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson both were signed, 35, 36-year-old pitchers coming off meh seasons, Kyle Gibson was getting carried by the Orioles last year. He did not have a good ERA, but he had a lot of wins, but that's because the Orioles were scoring a crap ton of runs. Lance Lynn allowed the most home runs in the league last year. I saw Lance Lynn in a playoff game against the Arizona Diamondbacks where he allowed 4 straight home runs in a row. 4 straight home runs. And now, Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson have been key pieces in our lineup. Our starting rotation of Sonny Gray, Lance Lynn, and Kyle Gibson has been really, really damn good. Those 3 have been playing really good ball for us. Miles Michaelis hasn't been that good. Like, there's no way to dilly-dally around that. He's given us a couple of quality starts. Like, he has 6 wins, but he's 6 for 7. He's the only one of our starting pitchers that has a losing win percentage, like Kyle Gibson 5 for 3, Lance Lynn 4 for 3, Sonny Gray 9 for 5. And then we don't really have a 5th starting pitcher right now. Steven Matz was the guy, but he got hurt early in the season, and even before then, he didn't look that good. We tried starting Zach Thompson, also didn't look that good. Matthew Liberatore started a couple of games. In some games, he's looked great. In some games, he's looked trash. In typical Matthew Liberatore fashion, where he can have games where he plays lights out and you think he's the next big deal. And then next game, he'll play like shit. No way around it. Matthew Liberatore is so frustrating because he's so good in some games. And you're like, okay, he's finally taking that step. And then he just loses everything in the next game. And it's just, what are you doing, man? Andrew Pilates gone out and been our starter, and he's given us a couple of quality starts, but he's also given us some bad starts too. But he is 4 and 3. But alas, we have a strong trio of pitching in Sonny Gray, Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson. My big issue with that is they are all older pitchers. Sonny Gray, I think, is 34, and Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, I think, are 35 and 36. So while they're giving us good pitching now, they're not going to be giving us good pitching for much longer. We need to get some youth in there. And we do have a couple of guys. We still have Tink Hence coming in. Yes, he's only in Double-A right now, but he's 21, and he's hands down our best prospect that we have. We have a couple of other guys, too. Robbie here, who we got in a trade, he could be something special as well. Maybe Quinn Matthews. We also have Cooper. He was our first-round pick a few years ago. So we got some guys coming in. We got some pitchers some young talent that hopefully can pan out for us. We also have the 7th overall pick in the MLB draft. That's something as well that we got going forward to us. We're going to get the 7th best player, or on paper, the 7th best player. We could get the best pitcher that's available there. Maybe we get someone on the infield or the outfield. Now, the last thing I really want to do is go over the batting. I've gone over how we are overachieving with pitching, and how even though we have a terrible run differential, and even though we do not score runs, and our pitching actually isn't even top 10 in the league, even though our pitching's been carrying us games, we still have a winning record. And that's because when we win games, we win by 1 or 2, and when we lose games, we lose by about 5 to 10. So we either win tight, close games, or we get absolutely blown out. But what I'm happy with is that we are winning these tight, close games. If our starting pitching comes out and performs for us, our bullpen is going to be able to get us through those tight, close games, which I'm loving how we are actually staying competitive in these games and not giving up late in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. But again, I want to go over this abysmal bat. Like I said, our batting is the 4th worst. We have the 4th worst batting in the league. One bright spot, though, well, I would say we have 3 bright spots on the batting, and then it goes downhill from there. And that's Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, and Brendan Donovan. Mason Wynn was our top rookie prospect coming into this year. He played a little bit at the back half of the last season and looked terrible. This season, he looks like a much better ball player. He's one of the best players in MLB with 2 strikes on him. He doesn't get a lot of swing and miss. He doesn't strike out that much. Now, he does strike out a lot. You will see he has a lot of strikeouts compared to these other guys, but he also has more bats than them too. Super, super fast. Takes a good amount of walks. Has the best batting average on the team. Like I said, really good 2-strike hitter. As you can see here, his runs for the team is really damn good. 32, one of the top in the team outside of Brendan Donovan and Alec Burleson. But like I said, Alec Burleson and Brendan Donovan, Burleson's kind of come out of nowhere. He hasn't really had a good season with us, and now this year, he's playing phenomenal. He's getting a lot of doubles, a lot of home runs. He's 2nd on the team in home runs, 3rd on the team in batting average. Alec Burleson is playing great ball for us. And then Brendan Donovan, he kind of got off to a slow start, but he has been scorching hot and the hottest batter on the team in the last 20 games. Brendan Donovan is hitting home runs. He's hitting doubles. Look at the doubles. 18 doubles. He leads the team in doubles. He also, look at the hits. 80 hits. Brendan Donovan leads the team in hits, and he leads the team in doubles. He also leads the team in RBIs. Brendan Donovan is playing great baseball right now. And then you look at the WAR. You know, how much better are they above the average replacement? Mason Wynn, playing great. Brendan Donovan, playing great. Alec Burleson, playing great. Like I said, these 3 guys have been the 3 bright spots of the team. Mason Wynn, who's typically leadoff. Alec Burleson, who's actually been doing really well as our number 2 batter and driving in Mason Wynn. And then Brendan Donovan, who's been shifting around the lineup, but coach has him at about 5 or 6, and he's been doing really good there. Now that I've talked about the 3 bright sides, it's time to talk about the rest of the team. That is very, very upsetting. Nolan Arenado is the only one who I think is able to avoid this conversation. Same with Wilson Contreras. Both Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras are playing average baseball. You know that they can do better. They've done better. This isn't their best season, but it's still a good season. They still are doing better than average, as you can see by their WAR. Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras are still also really good defensively for us. Wilson Contreras actually isn't the best defensively, but Nolan Arenado is still a really good 3rd baseman. He's making mistakes. You can tell he's getting older, but you can tell he's making mistakes because he has been so damn good. If this was an average 3rd baseman, you would love what you're seeing out of him. But it's Nolan Arenado, right? One of the best 3rd basemen of all time. 10 straight years of winning Gold Gloves? So the fact that he's making mistakes are just going noticed because he's Nolan Arenado. He doesn't make these mistakes. Then everything after Wilson Contreras, maybe Matt Carpenter I can let slide as well. He's hitting it every 1 in 4 times. He's not doing the best, but he's more so a veteran presence, and he has a couple of clutch hits as well. Everyone after Matt Carpenter, though. So we got 7 batters. 7 batters that are free from my wrath. Everyone below him, trash. Straight trash. Everyone trash. What are you doing, Paul Goldschmidt? .225. 100 strikeouts. I want you to look at the strikeout list. Look at Gorman and Goldschmidt. Look at those strikeouts. Are you actually kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? They have double the amount of strikeouts, basically double, than Mason Wynn. Yes, he's got 58. Goldschmidt has 100. It's not exactly double. It's a little less. Basically have a double the amount of strikeouts as him. What is going on with the batting? Paul Goldschmidt, what is going on with the batting? He's still a good veteran presence for us. Yes, he still has 11 home runs and 10 doubles, and he gets RBIs. But .225? 100 strikeouts? So even when there's a runner in scoring position, he's not going to do shit. It's just so disappointing seeing this fall from grace Paul Goldschmidt's having, especially when he literally won the MVP 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he won the MVP and was batting above 300. Look at this fall from grace that Paul Goldschmidt has had. Michael Ciani isn't a good batter, but we kind of knew that. He's just playing center fielder while Tommy Edmonds is still hurt. I guarantee as soon as Tommy Edmonds gets back, Michael Ciani's probably gone. Maybe he'll stay just for his good defensive play, but Tommy Edmonds coming back into the lineup. Lars Nootbaar is hurt right now, so I can't really say anything about him. He's been hurt for a vast majority of the season. Dylan Carlson, though, ass. I don't get why he's getting snaps. Like, I truly don't get why Dylan Carlson is in instead of Jordan Walker. But then you go and you look at Jordan Walker. 0.155. Oh my God, Jordan Walker. He had such a good year last season. His rookie season last year, he looked really good. What is this regression from Jordan Walker? What is it? This is disgusting. Brandon Crawford's not doing anything for us. His old ass is just sitting on the bench laughing it up, doing absolutely fuck all. He's got 1 home run. Good for you. 3 RBIs. Yeah, all that was on that home run. Nolan Gorman, then, is literally a worse Kyle Schwarber. Like, what's going on with Nolan Gorman? He either hits a home run, he's leading the team in home runs with 16. He's not top of the team, but he's top 3 in RBIs with 37. But then 0.187 with 109 strikeouts. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it's almost like he hits a home run or he does nothing. And it's very sad. Which, obviously, you like the home runs, but he's not a Kyle Schwarber. At least Kyle Schwarber has like a .230, and he hits more runs than him. He's a poor man's Kyle Schwarber. I don't want that. I would rather have Kyle Schwarber than Nolan Gorman at this point. So, the batting is absolutely disgusting. Paul Goldschmidt, what are you doing? Dylan Carlson, what are you doing? Nolan Gorman, what are you doing? Jordan Walker got sent down to AAA. He was doing so bad. The batting's just disappointing, but at least these guys are young. Nootbaar's young. Carlson's young. Gorman's young. Walker's young. Goldschmidt's not young. And the only bad thing about us overachieving right now is I don't think we're going to trade Paul Goldschmidt. At pick 7, if there's a really good first baseman in the draft class, I honestly wouldn't mind taking him. Because we don't have a replacement at first base if Paul Goldschmidt gets hurt. I do know that I think Brendan Donovan played a little bit of first base, so maybe when Tommy Edman comes back from his injury, Tommy Edman can go to center field, Ciani can go to left field, Brendan Donovan can go to first base. But, good God, Goldschmidt. Like, I honestly wanted us to trade him. I don't think we're going to trade him now because we're in a playoff spot. We're, I believe, the 5th seed right now if we were to end today. And we're only 6.5 games back from the Milwaukee Bucks. Or I guess technically in the wild card race, we are in the 6th seed, but we are only half a game behind the Padres, who have played 5 more games than us. And we're only 3.5 games behind the Braves, too, and 6 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks. We're right in there for the playoffs. We are in a playoff spot. The season is halfway done, more than halfway done, and we're right in it. We are in playoff mode. We are in playoff contention. So I don't think we're going to trade Paul Goldschmidt. Which, let's be real here. Realistically, what do we think can happen? If the season stay how it stays and nothing happens, the pitching still carries us and the batting doesn't do that good, what, we'll finish as the 5 seed or the 6 seed and just get smoked in the first round of the playoffs? I guess. Like, do you want to lose in the first round of the playoffs again? Which we've done the last couple of years now. I don't, but at the same time, I guess it's a good thing we make the playoffs. And this is Paul Goldschmidt's last year. Are we really going to re-sign him? So you're going to walk in free agency and we just lose him for nothing? What we get out of Paul Goldschmidt is the first round playoff loss exit? I think we're getting too close to the trade deadline, so unless we literally lose every single game until the trade deadline, I don't think we're trading Paul Goldschmidt. Maybe we'll even be buyers. Who knows? Maybe we'll be buyers. I don't really know what we would get. Maybe another young pitcher in there. Maybe a young first baseman. I don't really know what we would buy if we were buyers. An outfielder? I don't even really know. Like, our roster's so weird right now because I don't think you can buy without having to get up an old veteran piece. But are we really going to trade Paul Goldschmidt for another piece? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the St. Louis Cardinals do. I honestly think we're just going to sit pat and do nothing and just draft best player available at pick 7 in the draft. Could be a pitcher, could be an infielder, could be an outfielder. We can honestly draft anything at pick 7. I think we just go best player available. And then I think we just stand put. If I had to predict what would happen right now, Do I think we're going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Is our pitching going to hold up? I don't know. I don't think so. But our batting could get hot too. We could just get hot at the right time. Who knows? Maybe our batting improves. I don't have the answers. I truly don't. I'm happy with our baseball right now. We're winning games. We're above 500. I'm enjoying watching Cardinals baseball. We're going to have to see where we are at the end of the season. We really will. But this has been my midseason review of the St. Louis Cardinals. Very high highs, very low lows. Very interesting season for us so far, but we're above 500, so I can't complain too much, right? Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.